Click. Welcome, friends, to not Find Your Friends, like I said last episode, by the way. It's called Find Your People. I mean,
Details.
you are our friends.
Details.
But I listened back and I was like, I don't even know the name of our own podcast. That's the kind of life I'm living right now.
I just thought you were saying friends find your people, and it all just got
Yeah, it
mushed
all got,
together.
well, I'm blonde and old, and yeah, that's probably what happened. Oh, welcome, Mandee. It's so good to see you. We've got so much to talk about this week. So many things are coming up. The holidays are coming up. We've got sports galore. So I'm gonna get us started off this week. I think it's time we had the Pat McAfee discussion.
We may have felt this coming.
Yeah, there are sometimes I really like Pat McAfee, like when I feel like he's the worst case of ADHD on the planet. And so, like, when he's focused and he really knows what he's talking about, like, he has really good sports knowledge. But the problem with Pat McAfee,
The russification of our society.
it literally has been on WWE multiple times. And you have to wade through the junk to get to the really good stuff and insights that he has. And if I could do anything for Pat, it would just, first of all, tell him to just not. And second, like, get him some Adderall.
Here's my question for you, though, Katie.
Oh, Lord.
I feel like maybe we're in the minority.
I think we are. Unfortunately.
So what do we, I mean, think about how we used to, I mean, I agree with you 1,000%. I don't even watch it. I can hardly look at him.
And Lee Corso wasn't even on this week.
Oh, Lee.
Well, it was out west and early, and he doesn't do early mornings anymore.
Well, kudos to him.
Same.
But like, how do we, I mean, like, think about how we used to feel about our grandparents when they'd be like, like, I don't want to be the the naysayer of everything new and different.
Yeah.
But I also don't like that.
I think he's pretty close to our age too. So, I mean, he can't say that he's just young and dumb.
It's playing to,
yeah.
It's playing to the base.
Yeah.
It's playing to, it's playing to the easy thing in life.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is. And I think that's a bigger issue across the board, but it's certainly rearing its ugly little head
on game day.
College game day. So this Saturday, I'm going to be don't be shocked, I'm going to be out of town again. So I won't be watching. Love what I'm going to be doing, but I'm tired. But the next Saturday, I really think I may watch the SEC Network show with Tim Tebow, but he can be a little whiny sometimes, and it's got Feinbaum on it, and he's a little
old. Kurt Kubelek or whatever.
Yeah, who I like Kurt. Now, he's not terrible, but like
our friends on the Big Boo cast really like him.
Love him. He's been on their show. The wife's been on their show. So he's great, but like the others, I don't know if I'm gonna like them either. You know what? We should start our own, which we kind of have, but like ESPN should pay us.
Oh boy.
So part of what Pat is doing this year, which I think is great on some level, this is another reason that there's some good things about Pat McAfee, but then he just goes off the rails. He was a kicker. And he kicked at West Virginia, and then he kicked with the Indianapolis Colts with Peyton Manning.
I'm just going to pause you real quick. If anybody hears a gremlin, that would be my friend Gracie, who's decided to talk to me now that we started recording. Anyway, keep going.
It's funny, like she walks behind you, and I see her little butt swaying on the picture. And it just gives me life.
Okay,
It just
good.
gives me life. So Pat was a kicker, and one thing he talks about, which is so true, and I have found myself doing this, is saying, "Oh my gosh, kicking is so easy. How can they miss it at 20 yards?" Well, it's really not that easy. It's very pressure filled. It's a lot riding on one singular person's shoulders. And I do get that. So what he's doing this year on College Game Day to kind of prove his point is pulling a random student out of the crowd every Saturday morning, and they can kick a field goal from, I think it's 30 yards, and win $30,000. And if nobody kicks it, or if that kid doesn't get it, then he adds $5,000 every week. And they're up to like, nobody's gotten it, because kicking really is hard.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's trying to prove the point. I get it. I mean, it's a great little segment. It's one of the few that I actually like to watch. But here's what our little boy Kurt Herbstreit does. He holds the ball for the kicker. And that bougie boy, that pretty bougie boy, kneels on a little customized made pillow.
I don't I don't I don't hate that.
It's kneeling
Because he's
down
our
for like
age.
3 seconds.
He's our age.
Okay. Maybe I'm being judgy of pretty boy Kurt Herbstreit. But
I
like,
just
it's
know
like
how bad my knees are, and I never played any sports.
they like lay his little pillow down.
That is funny.
He kneels on it. Usually it's Desmond Howard that like presents the pillow on the ground, and they put it down, and he holds the ball.
That's funny.
Like, Herbie, I'm gonna need you to buck up there, buddy. But he is our age. So maybe I can forgive him. But I really do like, that's one of the, like I said, that's one of the few segments that I do like. It's gotten so bad though, and the kids have missed so badly, that Desmond and Kurt are now putting up their own money too.
They're
So
feeling
this
pretty
last
confident.
kid could have won like $200,000 if he'd made it, because they all were like, "Yeah, I'll put $75,000 in too."
Oh, wow.
I know.
Let's work on our kicking skills.
Well, they haven't been brave enough yet to get the first week they had a kid that played soccer. So they haven't been brave enough to really find somebody that could actually maybe have a chance of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they're flaking on that too.
Well, they'll probably wait till the last week.
Yeah.
Because again, the wrestlification, it's all scripted.
All scripted.
So
yeah, like they
probably
do
go
this
wait till the last week.
randomizer on there now, where they're like, pick a random topic for Kurt to talk about. Click. And I'm like, it's not random. He's known. It's going to be whatever pops up. He's done the research. He knows what's coming. You're not fooling me.
Scripted.
All scripted. And then so today is All Saints Day, which is All Saints Sunday is one of my favorite services of the year. Don't be shocked.
Agreed. Well, you visit your pals at the cemetery.
And that's what I'm preaching
and
about.
then you go to All Saints Sunday. It's funny, I don't remember growing up. I don't remember All Saints Sunday being a thing. I'm sure it was. I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah,
the first
me
one
too.
I remember is sometimes we would, before I discovered Mulberry in Macon, sometimes we went to Riverside Methodist in undergrad. And I remember being at Riverside on All Saints Sunday with my roommate Dixie right after her grandmother had died. And that's like the first All Saints I remember. It is. It's such a beautiful, beautiful ceremony. And we're singing a really fun anthem, but I'm not going to be here, so I'm going to miss it.
Yeah. So Mulberry does All Saints to the nines, of course. There's this banner with ribbons with bells that they put on it. So it's you hear the sound of the bells, and then every family gets a bell for their person, and it's very pretty. We're doing a very sweet service here at my church. It's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. Even if you haven't lost somebody that year, I think it's always good to reflect on those that have come before us. Not to get too preachery.
Well, no, you'll love this. So the scripture that our anthem was based on is the one about the cloud of saints.
Mm-hmm.
And the girl that sits beside me in choir, I can't remember if I actually talked about this on the podcast or not. She, a lot of choirs will hire professional singers to come in, which I didn't know about. Growing up in Moultrie, that was not necessary because everybody in Moultrie knows how to sing. But a lot of other places, you need some help.
Yeah.
And so this girl was hired by my little church. At some point, our choir director left during COVID. And I wasn't singing at that point. I didn't go back until about Easter of this year. But she was a opera major.
Oh.
And she's
legit.
And
I would be intimidated sitting by her. I don't think you are.
Not at all, no. But she didn't grow up Methodist. Like she's obviously been to church.
Yeah.
But she's not Methodist. Like she doesn't participate in communion, even though it's Methodist communion, everybody's welcome. Like
tables open,
you know, and that's all well and good.
Yep.
But anyway, she said after we had rehearsed it, she said, "Why is this a cloud of saints and not a crowd of saints?"
I love that.
Anyway, we had to pull out the Bible and read the scripture and go over all of that. So
yep, I love it. I love it.
He also may have dropped the F-bomb during choir practice recently, and I about fell out of my chair.
I love it.
Anyway,
I love that. You know, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
I love it. I like to answer her questions and make her feel included.
I know, right? We're singing my favorite hymn, For All the Saints who labor in their rest. It's such a good, I love that. And then the other thing I'll say, I don't know why this took such a dark turn. I was actually about to start talking about Halloween, but here we are talking about
All Saints is not dark necessarily.
I love it. It's really, really my favorite. Because for any like Holy Week, I love the days leading up to Easter almost as much as I love Easter, because you have to sit with the hard things. So the joyful things are more joyful. Exactly. And so I love sitting with this for a Sunday. But my bishop in residence at Candler School of Theology is named Larry Goodpastor. And Bishop Goodpastor calls them balcony saints. So all those saints that look over the balcony of heaven and keep an eye on you. And I love to think about it that way.
Yep.
Balcony saints.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. So that's what Sunday's going to be about. And if not, I don't talk about this other one much, but if you really care to listen, I have another podcast that you can listen to.
You should
hear my sermons.
You should talk about it.
That's called Grits in the Gospel. And there we go. So I say that today is All Saints Day, but yesterday was my favorite holiday because I never had children. And so all the children parade in front of me in cute little outfits. And yesterday did not disappoint. So
I love the way you framed that on our last podcast about like you liked Halloween because you like to, hand out candy to all the little children. And I knew I was going to get Gracie yesterday. And so I said to Susie, I think I'll stay at your house because she lives in the neighborhood and I'm sure she gets trick-or-treaters. And so I was like, I'll keep Gracie at your house so I can hand out candy.
Yeah.
And then by the time the day actually rolled around, I was like, forget it. I'm going to watch baseball in my quiet little condo.
Yeah. Well, my sweet friends host me every year. It's a new tradition and we have so much fun. They live in a neighborhood with a bunch of people and I do not. So I go over there and we sit on her front porch and have a tasty adult beverage. And we order appetizers from a local restaurant. And we throw candy at children. And it's wonderful. And we have so much fun. And then when her children get home, we give the parent tax. Even though I'm not a parent, I still take the parent tax.
Listen, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you heard about, I can't remember what it's called now, something switch?
No.
I'm gonna have to look this up real quick.
Look it up.
It's
Also, what's coming up is Jimmy Kimmel always does the thing where the parents hide the children's candy and tell them they've eaten it all and get the reactions, which I'm hoping those are coming out very soon because those are always my favorite. But yesterday I got roared out by like a 3-year-old little lion who was precious. There were lots of princesses in puffy coats because it was very cold. I saw a lot of Mario. I guess
I saw a lot of I
was
did
there
too.
a movie this year? Maybe
I don't know, but I noticed that too. A lot of Mario.
I don't know.
Who posted that? People don't change your name when you get married.
The cutest one though was this. She was probably 4. And she was dressed in a little scuba suit and she had her tennis shoes on with it. And they had taken a liter Coke bottle and sprayed it silver and put it on her back for her little bitty tank, her air tank. And she was a little scuba
Very
diver.
cute.
And she came up with her little bitty voice and said, "Trick or treat." And it was the sweetest.
Aww.
Like, I was like, "Can I please like take you home?" No,
that's funny.
It was so great. It was my favorite outfit of the night was the little scuba diver. So
yeah, I do love a creative. Mind you, being Gracie's chewing on something. Sorry.
Well, the gremlin's always a gremlin.
Being that I was one, my costumes and creativity were not necessarily the hallmark of the Caldwell
I
Halloween.
saw your post yesterday.
that was one of the good ones.
I know.
That was one of the good ones. The clown outfit was one of the good ones. I vividly remember in Birmingham, when we lived in Birmingham, I wanted to be strawberry shortcake.
And
we went to Kmart, and I didn't remember if they were sold out of strawberry shortcake or if it was just cheaper to get her little apricot friend. But whatever the little apricot friend was named, I was that full-on scary, terrifying plastic mask.
Plastic masks.
Listen. Anyway,
Switch
Witch
is
what it's called.
Okay.
And
I have seen that.
You can leave your candy
for the witch.
For the witch who will come and get it and leave you a toy instead.
Yes, so you don't have 85 pounds of candy.
I'm going to be the old lady on the front lawn and say, "I'm sorry, y'all, that is some bullshit. Yeah. And y'all need to let your kids eat some candy."
Let them eat candy. The boys, especially last night, because they've got a daughter who stayed home with us. It's her senior year, and so she's kind of over it. But we had so much fun. It was great to see her. But the 2 boys came in with like huge bags of pounds of candy and were reluctant to give me my taxes. And I was very angry with them. And all they did was laugh at me. Oh, the gremlin just did. She's practicing for the Olympic diving team. She just did a half gainer off your bed. Oh Lord! One of these days we're gonna have to start putting.
She's okay.
Online because there
are no gremlins were injured. Sorry,
y'all. You can think about a dog going butt over head. That's what exactly just happened randomly in the back of Mandee's little Zoom square.
Oh God!
My favorite thing ever.
Sorry. So if you're concerned about your kids eating that much candy, you just sneak in after they go to sleep and take some
stuff. Come on, parents.
Let your kids eat the candy.
As for my own self, Halloween,
my own self,
one of the few days that the tiara is not implied.
Did you wear it?
So here was my dilemma this year. It was a Tuesday, which is chapel day at Candler. So therefore, I had to serve communion, and I did not think that a tiara.
You should wear the tiara serving communion
on All Saints service day at Candler.
Gosh, Katie, I can't imagine why you came to that decision.
So in full Katie Princess fashion, I just wore two yesterday. One of my tiaras, it's not really a tiara, it's more of a pearl and rhinestone headband. And so I wore my headband
There you go.
to chapel. And then I brought the big gun with me to the Crutchfield household and wore it there.
That was,
So
I think
I
those were some
wore
good choices.
two tiaras,
See,
is what I'm saying.
I like it. I like it.
So it was just a great day. It's my favorite day. I got to see a bunch of cute kids. I'm not in charge of them. I don't have to deal with them
The
on
best
camp.
kind.
It's
Yeah.
so great. And they parade right in front of you and the cutest little outfits and they roar at you. So I love it. And there's no pressure. Like with Christmas, there's so much pressure. You got to do gifts and wrap.
Well, there's
and
no pressure for
decorate.
you, the single person who doesn't have children. Imagine if you had a child. And also, the other thing I noticed this year, which I applaud and I think it's great. Can we talk about the fact there's no way on earth my father would have ever dressed up like whatever that character is from Super Mario that all the dads were dressing up
all
as.
of them.
My dad wasn't going trick-or-treating with us. My dad was at rehearsal somewhere.
There were golf carts with like giant spiders on top.
Yeah. So there's no pressure for us. There's no
Yeah.
pressure for us, but there's a lot of pressure
There
for
is a lot of
these
pressure.
folks
You're
with
right, which is
children.
why I like it.
Because that's all on y'all.
All on
And
y'all.
listen, I love it. I enjoy it. I love to see it. And I thank God every year I don't have children.
Amen. Amen. There are some perks.
There are.
There are definitely some
not
perks.
having to come up with all that. And like my friend Casey, St. Simon's Casey, who makes the great cookies.
Yes.
She's very creative. And they do a family costume and like she loves it. And you know, she's got an attic full of stuff to pull from. Like she loves Halloween.
Yeah.
That is great. That would not have been my forte.
Now, if I had to do all that stuff, Halloween would not be my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for me,
I'm with you, girl.
selfishly.
Well, I myself went as the meme on Instagram that two people shared with me before 8:00 yesterday morning. I went dressed as a former gifted child just so people would ask me, what are you supposed to be? And answer so many things I was supposed to be. That's what I went as.
I used to every year as a disgruntled Geico employee. Normal.
There you go.
Showed up.
But I will say the first year I moved to the beach, for a couple of years previous, a group of local women had started dressing as witches and riding their bikes to the elementary school that's probably about 4 miles west of me.
Mm-hmm.
And it took that whole endeavor took on a life of its own about the time I moved here. The woman who actually started doing it is a friend of mine, and I had seen it on Instagram and thought, well, that's so cute.
That is cute.
But first year I was here, I woke up on Halloween morning and I thought the aliens were invading. I thought they landed. There was a bright light in my house. I got up, Etta and I were like, what is happening? And directly outside my balcony, they had set up for the like early news program, like before the Today Show, local news program had set up and they had their light. Ow! Do not bite me.
The gremlin is gremlining today.
You just go over there. No, listen, chill yourself out. The light was shining directly into my condo and they were setting up the shoot to interview my friend Christy. And then all these witches. And when I say 200 women dressed as witches, I am not exaggerating. Like it was a slew of women. And then it became, after they rode to the elementary school, Gracie's now making out with me.
The gremlin is now attacking her face.
After they rode to the elementary school, they would come down to the restaurant, which at that point was called La Playa.
La Playa.
And it became a giant drunk fest.
Love it.
And
that is my kind of day, no matter what time it starts.
They would have their mimosas. They would have their cackle contest. y'all, it was,
Stop
8 o'clock in the morning, and I got a bunch of drunk women down there cackling. It was not my favorite. So I don't know I don't know what has happened. They left from somewhere else or something. I did not wake up to 200 women ready to get their drink on downstairs yesterday. So I was thankful.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. But I stayed home and watched the World Series.
Love it.
So just to keep y'all updated on where we are with that, so y'all can be educated. The Rangers are 1 win away. Snakes are alive still, but
Snakes alive, but barely.
They're hanging on. They're hanging on. Corey Seager, who I had mentioned to you all, has been a dog. Y'all may have heard the term Mr. October. That refers to Reggie Jackson.
Yes, Reggie Jackson, the great Reggie Jackson.
He earned that moniker playing for the Yankees, and I saw a graphic yesterday that Corey Seager has now matched Reggie Jackson's numbers for October. Like,
is Reggie still here on this earth with us?
He is. He is actually he is a consultant with Houston. So he works for the Astros.
Okay, but I'm sure he's thrilled still.
Oh yeah. But yeah, and Corey Seager's like, he's one of those like very stoic sort of players, and
he's hit him running runs. Yeah, I saw him running the bases yesterday. He didn't even crack a smile, and I was like,
yeah. But he apparently said, he used to play for the Dodgers, and he his free agency, he opted to go to the Rangers year before last. So he's been with them for 2 years. But he won the MVP when the year the Dodgers won the World Series. And that's who the Astros beat. I think it was the Dodgers that the Astros beat in 2017, which was the year of the sign stealing controversy. So you want to talk about people who hate the Astros, is the Dodgers, and Corey Seager in particular. And he had a big home run when they were still playing the Astros, and like was yelling as the ball made contact with his bat.
Really?
And it was out. Like, some emotion coming out of that man, which is unusual.
Yes, very stoic.
But Adolis Garcia, who I also mentioned last week, is injured. He tore his oblique. So that was a big blow. And then Max Scherzer, also, he had started game 3 and had to come out because he's injured. So they've had a couple big injuries. So if Arizona can make it to game 7, if they can win tonight and make it to game 7, they actually still have a pretty good shot of beating the Rangers.
So where will game 7 be?
So they'll play tonight in Arizona.
Okay.
And then they'll be off on Thursday. And if needed, game 6 and 7 would be back in Dallas.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. But that's where we are.
Did you see, I'm sure you did. Did you see W bounce it?
Can we just talk? I mean, I love that man. I can't help it.
I know.
I still love that man. Watching him walk out to the mound, and listen, that man gets a pass on any first pitch situation ever after what he did following 9/11. Like, but I couldn't help but just giggle at him walking out, strutting out to the swagger. Like, oh, there's W.
There's
our W.
He was so cute. And except for this most recent former president, and maybe we can talk about this in one of our episodes, I just love the little friendship that they all have, that Clinton and the Bushes especially are just so close and so kind to each other, even though they beat each other at different times. And
I mean, W and Michelle Obama.
I love that.
They're like besties.
Can you believe it? And then anyway, it's a great relationship. And I just love little W. He's so cute, and he's a painter, which is fabulous. I love that he's found his little voice with something artsy. That just cracks me up. So
I know.
Yep. Anyway, loved it. I love seeing that. So maybe I don't know who they would let do it in the last game. Maybe they'll bring him back. Let him try one
And
more time.
speaking of bouncing first pitches, Randy Johnson, the Hall of Famer, former pitcher, who I think he started, Arizona won. I think it was that year that W threw out the first pitch. Arizona was playing the Yankees after 9/11, 2001. I was in law school. I can remember sitting in my the professor's house we were renting. I can remember sitting there watching it. But anyway, Randy Johnson, I think, started the game. I can't remember if it went to 7 games, but he started the last game for Arizona the year they beat the Yankees. So he threw out the first pitch in Arizona, and he bounced it. And I mean, Randy Johnson's a Hall of Fame pitcher, so it's hard, y'all. If you're not currently doing it, it's hard.
One of my favorite Halloween costumes, speaking of Halloween, was a guy dressed up like Randy Johnson and then a girl dressed up like a dead bird.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
There we go.
And then other baseball news, I thought this was sort of an interesting story that people might be curious about.
I can't wait to hear about this because I haven't heard about it.
So a woman has sued the Braves and Soler, who was on the World Championship team. He's the one that hit that gigantic homer in Houston that they always replay.
Yeah.
He apparently threw a ball into the stands and it hit her in the face. And she has sued the Braves and Soler. So first of all, my guess is it's the statute of limitations is 2 years because she's just filed it and we're right here at the 2-year anniversary of the World Series.
Damn lawyers.
So I'm guessing they've been trying to get money this whole time and they have not been successful, so they have filed this suit. I can't imagine, there has got to be a waiver on every ticket that you buy that says, you assume the risk of getting hit by a ball or a bat or, so unless Jorge Soler spotted her and hates her and has a personal vendetta against her and then purposely lobbed this ball straight at her head.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that there's, that it would survive that kind of waiver.
I wonder if the waiver, though, is limited to things happening during play of the game. If that's what they're going to say. I wouldn't think so.
I mean, the MLB, I wouldn't think so, but because, think about
warm-up. At least try.
Batting practice and stuff. But the other thing lots of people have been, the thing that sort of gained the most headlines that I've seen, and I haven't actually read the suit or even read an actual article about the whole thing. I've just seen these headlines. But the other thing people have been curious about is that part of her claim is it's the legal term is loss of consortium.
Oh yeah, I know what that means. I've had happened
but it's companionship, and it can also mean
we're explicit, so you can say it.
Being able, as I told my friend Kelly this morning, it's an old common law cause of action. Been around for a long time. I said, leave it to the men to figure out how to get paid for not getting laid.
Yep.
So that is everybody's like, what is that? It's a very old cause of action that has been around, and you see it a lot in personal injury lawsuits where somebody, has some sort of catastrophic injury. So yeah, that's not unusual.
I know that term. Yes. Indeed. It is not unusual, but it is ridiculous.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not ridiculous, but
sometimes it's not.
This one?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I can't help but think that MLB will become involved in this lawsuit. Because they're not going to want to set any sort of precedent for people getting paid. So we'll see. But that's sort of your baseball update for the week, friend.
Thank you.
In other news, Janae got adopted. We had her little meet and greet last Thursday with Madonna, her new sister.
Did they Vogue?
They did. They tried to vogue a little bit. We had to
Uh,
sing little Gracie here. We did it at Gracie's house so they could have the yard to run around in. But we had to. Gracie had to leave because we knew Jenny would be protective. She left her little friend Gracie,
I
so we
love
didn't
it.
want that causing friction. And then I put her in the car with these two people. I've been told they're in their 60s, and they were, but they were in their late 60s.
Yeah,
And let me tell you, two Weimaraners is a lot of dog.
it is a lot of dog.
And I was just a little nervous when the woman almost fell down walking Jenny to the truck. She tripped. It was okay. But put him in the back of like it was an extended cab truck, and
Yeah,
put him in the back seat. And I thought, Jenny is my only foster that I've had that I would put in a small area like that with another dog, just because she's Jenny. Like, she's not gonna, if Madonna got pissed off, Jenny would just be like, sorry, dude. All right. She's not
yeah,
gonna come back at her at all. But
right.
so I've heard from once.
She did well.
Yeah, she's doing well. So fingers crossed. I've only had one. I have had one get returned in all
Okay.
my time. But I don't foresee that happening. They're gonna get out to their 10-acre farm, and those girls are
Oh,
gonna run around and be happy, and it's gonna
yeah.
be just fine. So
How long do you have the gremlins? Speaking of puppy updates.
So I am leaving on Thursday, tomorrow morning, to go to Nashville. There's a regatta this weekend.
Regatta,
So
regatta.
to go be bougie. So I will drop the gremlin off to be boarded in the morning. So
Love
yeah.
it. And her owner, I'm like, you won't have her when you get back, will you? Okay.
No, Susie had to go to Vegas. Yuck, for a work conference.
I don't love Vegas, so I
I
really
didn't leave anything
her.
there. So I don't foresee ever having to go back.
Nope, never.
Yeah.
It's not my
Yep.
idea of a good time.
Yeah. So anywho, so you're gonna talk to us about some food stuff now, aren't you?
I am. So this past Sunday, I know y'all are waiting with bated breath to hear how it went. We had the chili and cornbread cook-off
I don't think we knew that was
at my church.
pending.
Oh, well, it was delicious. And as the preacher, you have to try everything.
Can't be making anybody mad.
No. So I felt it was my duty to try all the cornbread and all the chili. But I also didn't want to make cornbread and chili and show everybody up because, I'm a
Right.
competitive person.
That was
So
nice of
I
you.
took dessert.
Okay.
And one thing I took was one of my very favorite things to take is a bunt cake. And it's a butterscotch bunt cake. And I will put
Say
all of
that 3
these.
times fast.
Nope. Because it will come out wrong. We are explicit, but I will put all these recipes in the show notes because they're my favorites. So I thought this butterscotch cake, one thing that makes it, I think, really good and not overly sweet, because here's what I do. The recipe calls for like a half a bag of butterscotch chips. But what am I going to do with a half a bag of butterscotch chips but eat them? So I just throw the whole bag in. So it makes it a little sweeter.
Make it less sweet for
Yeah, so
sure.
the buttermilk really counteracts that. And it's a really easy, really great recipe. I love it. I make it all the time. When I have something to take, I don't keep it here at the house generally. Anyway, so I have all this buttermilk left because you can't buy. If I ran the world and the dairies, I would make this little milk carton size things of buttermilk because sometimes all you need is 1 cup.
I will say real quick,
Yeah,
you can buy powdered buttermilk. I've
really.
never tried it, but they do make a powder form of
Interesting.
buttermilk. And I'm assuming you just add regular milk to it to
Yeah.
mix it up. But anyway, but yes, otherwise I totally agree with you.
Yes.
Whoever uses,
Well, now I have 3/4 of a small carton of buttermilk in my refrigerator. So what am I going to do with it? And so I thought I would share with y'all some of my other things that I love to make with buttermilk. One of them is this cheese bread that is delicious. I got it off Pinterest. I find the sharpest, crunchiest cheddar cheese Old Crock is a good one. The unexpected cheddar is a good one. And you put a lot of pepper in it and the buttermilk, and it is delicious. I toast it up, put butter on it, toast it up for breakfast in the mornings when I make a
Yum.
loaf. I try again not to keep it just laying around, but I have buttermilk, so twist my arm. So that'll be coming to the Katie world soon.
Can't wait for that recipe.
The other one that I love is, I think, is a classic that I do make a lot in the summer. But I also make it at the holidays sometimes. Buttermilk pie. It's very southern. I love a buttermilk pie, just a plain old buttermilk pie. I make homemade whipped cream to go on it sometimes. If I get a little saucy, I put cinnamon in the whipped cream because the cinnamon and the buttermilk are good together. However, in the summer, my favorite thing to do is to grate some lemon zest into it and either add blueberries or raspberries to the bottom of the pan and pour the buttermilk over it and have a buttermilk fruit pie.
Yum.
With some homemade whipped cream, of course. And it is delicious.
Sounds delicious.
You can always find good things on Pinterest. That's how I found the cheese bread. I just put in buttermilk recipes. There's tons of good chocolate cake recipes out there that use buttermilk. Obviously, you can soak some chicken in it. If you're going to fry chicken, you should absolutely.
Southern Living actually has a great recipe for buttermilk baked chicken.
Love that.
I feel like it's a whole lot easier than frying chicken.
Yeah.
Especially like, on a weeknight.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Southern Living buttermilk baked chicken recipe is killer. I haven't made it in forever, but it's good.
So I'll try to find that too and put that on there. What other buttermilk things do you like, Mandee?
I do like to use buttermilk in my cornbread.
Oh yeah, that's a good
I don't
one.
have to, but I do like to.
Love it.
And I'm trying. There's something I make at the holidays that requires buttermilk, but I can't think of what it is right now.
So a lot of my old country family, speaking of the cornbread thing, used to like crumble up day old cornbread and pour buttermilk over it for breakfast.
Yeah,
it's not my idea of a good time, but that's a real Southern thing. My granddaddy used to drink buttermilk.
Here's another hint about buttermilk, about buying buttermilk. Oh, I know, like cinnamon rolls, like baking. A lot of times when I make like cinnamon rolls, I'll use buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, y'all can Google this, but if you have regular milk and not buttermilk, and you have a lemon, you can just squeeze lemon juice into the regular milk and let it sit for a little bit, and then you'll get that tang like buttermilk.
Because it's basically soured milk.
Right?
Spoiler.
Why are people eating it with cornbread?
I don't know.
I don't mean to judge.
Yeah, so that's a great, I forgot about that. That's a great tip. If you don't have it, maybe that's what I should have done. But it's right there. And you know what else is right next to it? And I mean, this is another topic maybe for another day, but the eggnog's already out, which,
oh boy,
I love eggnog.
See, I've never really.
It's October.
Yeah, now it's too early for eggnog. Can't do eggnog yet. Yeah, can't do it.
December, all month long, I will drink eggnog with bourbon in it. I'm there.
See, I'm a milk punch person.
Okay. I like a milk punch, but I'm more of an eggnog person.
I've never really, I didn't grow up with eggnog.
I didn't either. It's a recent addition, and you can't get just any eggnog. There's a couple
That's
brands.
What I was gonna say. I feel like maybe I hadn't hit the right eggnog yet.
The Jack Daniel's brand is good to me.
Okay.
And some of the smaller creameries, if you can find their version of eggnog, it's really, really good. But the big brand or not, that's not real.
Yeah.
This is a rabbit hole I did not mean to go down, but my garden club, yes, I'm a member of a garden club.
As you should be.
Don't be jealous. Every year at Christmas, they make homemade eggnog, and that is the strongest stuff and is the best stuff I have ever had in my life. It's so good.
Well, you know who introduced me to milk punch?
Oh,
Julianne Chambliss.
Julianne Chambliss. There we go. The other Macon tradition that I love at the holidays, and I've never been invited because you have to put a roof on a building, is the roofers have a huge Macon party with all their
the Roofers
customers.
Union?
No, the company. It's LA Schwartz.
Oh.
And their last name is not Schwartz, but that's the name of the company. But they have a big eggnog party every year, and it is so strong. They use a boat paddle. They make so much of it. They use a boat paddle, and it takes the varnish off the boat paddle. It's so strong. And they don't just use bourbon. Like, nobody knows the recipe. I think it's just to dump everything they've got in their liquor cabinet thing in the pot. I mean, it's so good.
I'd be scared of that.
I'm the recipient usually of a jar of it from some people that don't drink. And so I have had it, and it is a sipping eggnog.
It finally got
anyway,
cool
it's out.
enough down here that I took the gremlin yesterday and walked across the street to the liquor store across the street and bought some. I prefer rye over bourbon. I mean, I like them both, but I like a little rye, a little spicy rye.
Have you done Whistle Pig?
I got Menschner's yesterday.
Okay.
So I made myself a Manhattan last night.
Oh,
yeah,
love that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have to do. I mean, I know this is the preacher saying this, but we're gonna have to do an alcohol, like our favorite drink, and alcohol brand.
Listen,
I'm here for it.
Jesus turned water into wine. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And I will disclaimer, and I will do it again too. But like, I had some days back in the day. I had some days, but now, like, I don't get so inebriated that I cannot be available for an emergency from my church.
Yeah,
but it doesn't mean I don't do anything.
Plus it's getting old.
Yep.
And haven't had too much to drink.
Can't do it.
Can't do it either.
Nope.
Quarter pounder does not solve that problem anymore.
No. Cheese crystals either. There is no crystal up here, so it couldn't help me. There's no crystal up here, by the way. There's no crystal up here.
We don't have crystal down here either. We got Whataburger though.
I don't have that. But anyway, so those are my buttermilk pie and the rabbit hole of eggnog. So my buttermilk recipes, I will post those 3. I will definitely look for the other one that Mandee mentioned on Southern Living for the chicken, the baked chicken. So I'm excited about that.
It's good.
So now, Mandee, I can't wait to hear about your favorites.
Well, I didn't have food this.
Some of these things are. So
I didn't have food this week, but of course, most of my favorites are food. Because listen, I have a hobby. It's food.
Same. Love it.
First thing I had to share with y'all. There's a woman on Instagram. Her name is Caroline Chambers. Her call sign is Caro Chambers.
Is it called a call sign?
Call sign, whatever. Oh,
breaker. Foxy lady.
What's your 40? What's your 20? What is it?
What's your 20?
What's your 20? Oh, God. I'm not good with numbers. Anyway, so I refer to her as Caro in my mind. I don't know if her friends call her that or not. Her name is Caroline. She is a stitch. She is originally from North Carolina.
I see this.
Right. But she married a guy who was in the Navy SEALs, and they now live in Northern California. They have 3 little boys. And she's a chef, like she's a recipe developer.
There's some good
food person, but it's not complicated stuff. Like, it's great, like weeknight meals. If you live next to a Trader Joe's, she's going to hook you up. Because she will show you all the time how to use all those crazy Trader Joe's, half made, pre-made. As Sandra, what's her name, used to say, semi-homemade. She shows you like how to use all that to make this great meal.
Cute. And her little husband's so cute.
So cute. And her stories are hysterical. The stories are usually like her boys, like yesterday for Halloween, she dressed up her youngest son, who's just turned 1. She put him in a button-down blue Oxford. And she went to the library and she put on a beret and some sunglasses and she played audio from Notting Hill,
Stop it.
the movie over
Yeah.
it. And she like, her baby's over there just like banging on a footstool, but she's like pretending like he's saying Hugh Grant's lines, and then she's reenacting Julia Roberts. Just so funny. I
Love
mean,
it.
she's great. And
Love it.
one of her current things she's doing is she's showing you how to take a bagged salad and make it like 10 times better.
Love
So like a salad kit that you get, she's like, take
yes.
that, but then you add salami and you add this and you add, and
Yeah.
it's just like, but
I
it's
love it.
great. So she's very realistic. She was also interviewed by the Today Show online, not the Today Show, but like the Today
Really?
Show online this week, because she's real big on how to raise your first child as if it's your third. Like just everybody chill
Yes.
out. It's
Everybody
all going to
calm
be
down.
fine. So she's like, I want people to be able to enjoy motherhood. Um, anyway, she's a great follow. She's just funny. But she also has some great recipe.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm
Suggestions.
following her now. I'm very excited about it.
And then my next recommendation is Rancho Gordo Beans.
Okay.
This is another company out in Northern California. I think they're in Napa. I mean, it's beans.
Yeah.
But y'all, they sell the best beans. I was making red beans and rice this week, and I was looking at their recipe and I'm like, oh, I need to go ahead and start making those beans, because you got to soak the beans, you
Yeah.
got to pre-put,
Yeah.
but you don't with these beans because they're so good that you
And
just like, they're
fresh.
not old, they're fresh beans.
Love it.
And they're like, beans to me, other than like butter beans, are like a cold weather food.
Yes.
And they just like, they have like their little white beans that they sell are delicious. I've gotten their black beans, I've gotten their chickpeas, and they're just so good. So
I love it.
Rancho Gordo beans, I highly
Done.
recommend some Rancho Gordo beans. And then the last thing I have on my list is a podcast that I just started to listen to.
Me and my phone back out. Every time Mandee tells us to do something, I literally get my phone and do it right then, because I have learned in life that I should just do what Mandee says.
Listen,
So,
this one may make your brain explode.
okay.
It is
Look, it needs it every once in a while.
It is boggling my mind. It's called The Kids of Rutherford County.
Okay.
It's by the same people that did
Cereal.
Serial.
Oh.
It is
There are
about
only 2
Murfreesboro,
episodes so
Tennessee.
far.
It's a story out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which is
Okay.
just south of Nashville.
Yep.
Um,
I don't want to
and
play
it starts off telling the story that made national news. These little children, like I think the oldest one was 12, were arrested and put into jail.
What?
Because there was a video of some kids bullying a little boy, and this police officer decided that all of the children needed to be arrested at their school and taken to jail. Y'all, I cannot even. So I listened to the first episode yesterday, and I've got some good friends that live in Tullahoma, which is the neighboring county over there, and they're good friends from law school. So I was like, I'm gonna need y'all to listen to this, and then we're gonna have a discussion.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you they know some of these people that were involved in all this. But I listened to the second episode today, and obviously if that happened, it's a systemic thing going on in this county. And so today was sort of a more of the backstory that has kind of shown how it got there. And, I mean, Lord, but the hero so far of this story is a guy who just graduated from law school, 25 years old, doesn't know what the heck he's doing. Like every lawyer can relate to like, what am I supposed to do now? And he just went, somebody said, well, you can get assignments from juvenile court. So he went and watched a couple of cases, and then he, signed up to be assigned juvenile cases.
And this is what he got.
And so he's the one who's like sort of going, this is like, he found the Tennessee statute that says, yes, children can be held in jail, but these are the requirements that must be met.
Yeah.
If they are, like imminent harm to others or themselves, like, a very violent crime must have been committed, things you would expect.
Nothing that had happened.
And so the first girl he represented had like committed, I think, negligent arson, I think was what it was. And he's like, Judge, I'm looking at the statute right here. She can't be detained. And the judge is like, she's a threat. Threw her in jail. It's like, what? And so it sounds like he's the one that sort of started rabble rousing and getting something done. And, it's just a lesson to all of us in whatever capacity we have and exist in the world. It may not be taking on a juvenile court system, but there's something in your life that is not right. And, you got to speak up.
Yeah.
You got to speak up.
Speak up.
If you, follow your gut and, talk to somebody, and Lord, don't be putting little children in jail.
I like this choice for this week because this only got 2 episodes, so I don't feel like I'm too far behind. And it's not going to take me forever to catch up. So,
and they're only like 30-minute episodes.
They're real short episodes. So go follow and do what Mandee tells you. I find it to be very helpful in life. The new Crime Town. Are you a Crime Town fan? Did you listen to the Road Out? That's a really good one, especially for my lawyer friends.
Okay.
So this one is about this season is about a horse lady in Ohio who stole all the city's money to buy horses with. And it's the largest case of municipal fraud in the country.
Good Lord.
I'll add that one to Mandee's list too. It's called and the other crime towns have been really good as well.
So it follows like one story.
Yeah, so one city. So the first one was Providence, Rhode Island, and the mob there. This was Crooked City. I'm sorry. Okay. Crooked City. They've done, this was Dixon, Illinois. They've done Chicago. They've done Detroit with the mayor that got arrested and put in jail. Those are very fascinating. So all those are really good too. So I'll put Crooked City on here.
My very favorite crime podcast or justice podcast is In the Dark, the second season, specifically focusing on one Curtis Flowers.
Yes. That's a good one. Dr. Death, the cancer doctor, Dr. Death, is coming out on Netflix. They've made that into a series.
Mercy.
I know. I love a podcast. So I love this suggestion. I'm definitely going to start listening.
Like I said, it may make your head explode. I tried to think of another one that would like counteract. I mean, we talk about, everybody knows about Big Boo, right? The Big Boo cast.
We've talked about them a lot.
They're always a great sort of light, fun, not make you lament the state of the world.
Right. The Gravy one, I have gotten several recommendations from them as well. So I've kind of gone down that rabbit hole. So that was a good recommendation for podcast, was Gravy. But I love all the crime ones.
Listen,
I was at the dentist about me, but I love them.
I was at the dentist yesterday, and the hygienist said, "Are you at a board meeting?" Because I have my earbuds in. I said, "What?" I said, "No, I'm listening to Keith Morrison tell me about somebody that got murdered." And I was like, "What are you talking about at a board meeting?" She was telling me that people like will come to get their cleaning and be listening in on meetings while they're getting their teeth cleaned. I was like, "I'm sorry. That is a bridge too far.
That's too much." Yeah.
But,
well, Mandee, those are great favorites. Thank you. I'm going to do all the things.
Lovely.
I love it. Well, friends, we've got a lot coming up. We're so excited. We've been looking at the holidays and kind of a schedule and things that we want to do. If you want to suggest stuff for us to do, please let us know about the holidays. What would you like us to talk about? We're thinking about like gifts, food gifts that you can give. I just added one when you said something about dressing up for Halloween like a movie. I think Christmas movies. I watch a Christmas movie every day in December. So I think we should do our favorite Christmas movies one episode, that kind of thing. So tell us all the things you think we should talk about. There's nothing too ridiculous
For sure.
because we're pretty ridiculous.
I mean, y'all have met us, right?
We're ridiculous. You know who we haven't said her name today? Birch.
Bertie Birch.
I feel like we haven't given her a shout out today.
Bertie Birch texted. She did, of course, know the glass. Was
good.
already following,
Estelle.
for her favorites last week. Estelle, yes. So she did text and say she was already in on that.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It is really, really beautiful. So yeah, hey Birch. Go tell my friends at Two Friends I said hello. Every time I walk in that place in St. Simon's, I only go a couple times a year, but they're like, there she is. We know her.
Oh boy.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks, Mandy. It's been so much fun getting caught up. Mandy has been a busy little bee over the past few weeks with all her lawyer and stuff. And so we have not gotten to talk. So this is our time to catch up. So thanks for listening in. We love this time together and we hope you have too.
Thanks, y'all.
Have a great week and
bye, Brooker.
Bye, Brooke. We love you.